Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Confident and Killing It podcast. It's me, Tiwalola. I'm a life coach and the founder of Confident and Killing It, and I'm on a mission to wake you up to your worth, help you feel confident, unstoppable, and dare to live the life that you truly desire. No more letting fear and insecurity get in the way of your dreams or your goals. It is time to master your mind, believe in yourself, and show up in the world. Let's get into it. So today I am joined by an incredibly amazing guest, the one and only, my mother, Adenike Ogunlesi. She is a fashion entrepreneur, the founder of Rough and Tumble and Gatimo Limited, which is a fashion brand and fashion manufacturing organization in Nigeria. Rough and Tumble has about 17 stores all over Nigeria. It's been running for over 20 years. And on top of that, she sits on the boards of multiple companies. She's also been interviewed by CNN, BBC, and top publications in the world. She's also a Lion's Den judge. So really and truly, you know she means business. I'm sat with her today to talk about how important it is to live out your dreams, to create a dream life for yourself. What does manifesting look like? Seeing it, believing it in your heart, and taking action, achieving your goals. So get ready because it's gonna be an incredible episode. My mommy dearest, hello.
Hi darling, how are you?
Welcome.
Everyone. Thank you.
Well, I tend to start the podcast every year with you because I think people love you more than they love me. So
Come on, I don't
I'm
think
joking,
so.
I'm joking.
I know.
I think you have such a unique perspective on life, wisdom, like you have such an amazing story. So I just always love bringing you on the podcast to just, set the tone and show the world the greatness inside of you. When I was thinking about the guests that I wanted to come on this episode with me to talk about goal setting, to talk about dreams and turning your dreams into a reality, I thought of you because you are like the manifesting, visualizing queen. Every small thing, visualize it. Be careful about your words, Tiwalola. So I just thought, okay, you know what? Let me actually bring you on. Let's talk about visualizing and manifesting and achieving your dreams, And so the title of today's episode is called See It, Believe It, Achieve It.
Fantastic.
Okay? See it in your mind, believe it in your heart, and achieve it, bring it into the world. So, quick icebreaker question before we get started. First of all, how are you feeling?
Good. Very happy to be here.
Yeah?
Fantastic. Thank you for all your kind words as you introduced me.
Oh,
Thank
of course, babes. All right, so can you tell me about a time you felt confident, a time where you had that main character energy?
The honest truth
Okay.
is that it's not something you switch on and switch off.
Okay.
So for me, confidence is something that you consistently work on.
Yes.
Because different situations, different vibes, you never know what's going on, and something can just sort of trigger something in you, and you can go off on a tangent if you're not focused and intentional about the outcomes you want. So it's not always like that, but it's a muscle that over the years I've worked very hard on.
Yes.
And still I can get blindsided.
Yeah.
So when that happens to me, I take a deep breath, and I do some really strong, powerful breaths. And I say, remind myself of who I am. Adenike, Morenike, Elizabeth. I am calm. I am youthful, useful, significant, purposeful. I am a force for good, a force for freedom. I am love, I am loving, I am lovable, I am greatly loved. I remind myself of why I'm in that space. And then I say to myself, sit your ass in this chair. You belong here and own this space. Because it's not so much about you anymore. It's about all the people who are looking at you.
Yeah.
And who are feeling like, if she can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
So that is a far greater reason
Of course.
for showing up,
Of course.
than anything else that I found over the years. So I remind myself of who I am. I take these deep breaths and I just calm down and say, yeah, I got this. And something happened where I was invited to be on Lion's Den.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know who the other people were until we were invited, to do like a pre-run.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there and there were these guys, equity, finance. They were all these big guys who've done amazing things in their field. And I looked at them all and I said, I'm the only woman in this place.
Mm.
That means that I'm representing every woman out there. And that felt like a huge responsibility at first, And then I just sat down and, sort of like moved myself to take up the space in the seat. I believe that you have to guard your body and your emotions because everything around you, your energy, your entire body is speaking to you. If you listen and you allow it, it will guide you in the direction you should go. So I sit down and own the place and say that I'm here, not as a woman, but as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here as a human being that has something to give, that wants to give, and is willing to give. And it all just goes away. And I'm calm and I'm fine. And from then on, bring it on.
Okay. I mean, that was just the first question, and I feel like that was a whole podcast episode. Wow.
You're right. I told you, sweetheart, I don't know how to answer a question.
I know. Which is, I think it's like why people love listening to you so much, because your voice is just so mesmerizing. But also, it's just like you really take us on a journey, which is beautiful. So
Good.
I love that. One thing I actually want to emphasize is being the only in the room. I think, just segueing a little bit, I feel like not like seeing that as your superpower. When you are like, okay, I'm the only woman here, but I represent
Yes.
all the other women. And it's not just about you. So I'm going to park this little insecurity to the side.
Absolutely.
And actually realize that I am here for a purpose and there's meaning to this. And I'm not going to let myself or the rest of the women in the world or women who look up to me down. I'm going to take up space and show up and show out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And once you can sort of like, you can speak to yourself. I think that is so important, the narrative. You become consciously aware of the narrative that is going on internally. And you can analyze and just say, you know what? Nah, that's not happening today.
Yeah.
I'm in charge, I'm in control, and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And you keep reaffirming that to yourself. Mm-hmm. So, we're human.
Yeah.
So insecurity, vulnerability, they're part of the human experience.
Of course.
And they will show up.
Yeah.
They do show up. And when you least expect them, they show up.
Yeah.
But
And it's so interesting that you're saying this because, I don't want to share your age. Can I share your age? You're a woman in her 60s. You're a woman in her 60s. And, you still have those moments of
absolutely.
Oh, can I do this? I'm the only woman here, But it just goes to show you that, life is a journey. Confidence is a journey, as you said. And, you never fully arrive, but it's like you have the techniques.
Yes.
So that is why I even, made sure to start Confident and Killing It, because it's about giving women the tools and skills they need so that when they experience challenges, they have what it takes to bounce back from it.
Absolutely.
So as a life coach, when I'm speaking to my clients, I'm like, I'm not here to fix your life. Like, you're not broken. You don't need fixing. What I'm here to do is equip you with the tools and the mindset that you need so you can go out into the world and overcome any situation that comes your way. So confidence is not about age.
No.
It is about intentionality of the mindset and practicing. Mm-hmm. So going back to, what we're talking about today, see it, believe it, achieve it. And you mentioned a lot about affirmations and, you're really good at all your different affirmations that you say. So when did that start for you? When did that kind of aha moment or switch start for you where you got intentional about building your dream life?
So it started a long time ago. I had Boyga, first child, and I realized that my life was never going to be the same. And this was now a huge responsibility, motherhood.
Motherhood, okay.
Motherhood was now a huge responsibility. And you then suddenly realize that actually nothing in your life prepared you for motherhood. And that you have to learn how to raise a child. And of course, all your own traumas they show up. The way you were raised, the way you were socialized will all begin to show up. And then you have to become very intentional about the home you want to run, about the way you want to raise your children, the values and the principles that you want to raise your children on. You know, what kind of home do you want? What kind of emotions do you want in your home? What kind of relationships do you want with your children? What kind of relationships do you want with your husband? What kind of family dynamics and relationships do you want? So it started for me all those years ago, and what happened was I met a woman, and this is one of the things that I say to women, that your support system is so important. And the women that are in your inner circle, are they building you? Are they supportive? Is it about fashion and hair and wigs and nails? Or is it about substance? Structure, values? Is it about a long-term plan to be able to do, or have anything that you want in life? You have to be very careful about the women that you have around you, because you become like the people that you associate yourself with. You know, and I think everybody knows that. So where was I? What was I going to say? So I was going to tell you about
that shift in your life.
So what happened was I met this lady, Dr. Nwakwesi. And then at that point in time, I used to make clothing for women. And I was very young. And these women were very dynamic. Nigerian women in shipping, in banking, in industry, you know. And I used to look at these women and, you know, sometimes they would meet in my little shop at the time, and they'd be talking about a house they just bought, you know, or a car they just bought. And I'm looking at these women and I'm thinking, I want to be like this. I want to be like this. I want to come into a place and write my check and walk out. I want to buy a house. I want to own things, you know. They were so inspiring. I was young, but they were such an inspiration to me. And, you know, one of them gave me this book by Anthony Robbins. Unleash or Release the Giant Within? Yeah. And I could not put that book down. It was as if it was made for me. I cried a lot, you know, a lot of trauma, a lot of childhood experiences, a lot of limiting beliefs, and trying to begin to understand the need to break that mold, to break it, almost like when you plant a seed. So sort of like, I'm planted in this place. It's dark because I'm finding out things about myself, my past, things I'm proud of, things I'm not so proud of. I want to be a better person. So this is for me where you become born again. Like a seed, you die and you rise again as this beautiful plant, you know, that begins to go deep into the ground with strong roots. And then comes out as a tree with branches and leaves and all this, and fruit, bearing fruit as well. So for me, these things are, this was a very important point in my life's journey. My association with those women, the book, and from that book, I then started to look for other books. And I found the Power of Positive Thinking. It was a blue book at the time, blue and white book. And they were so powerful. And they showed me that I could go through a rebirth so long as I was willing to get uncomfortable and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, in bringing up all the gunge, you know, and defining the woman I wanted to show up as. So this woman had to live a values and principles-based life. What were those values? What were those principles that were going to guide me? Values, family for me is family, health, wealth, growth, personal, my spirituality. I cannot, you talk about manifesting, I cannot divorce my spirituality from anything that I do. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about myself as a human being, as a spiritual being. Yes, as a spirit being, with the powers of creation, with an imagination that can set the world, you know, on fire in terms of passion, in terms of possibilities, in terms of opportunities, in terms of so many different things that are positive and that are good, you know, that can be done. And that awakening, for me, was the beginning of my journey to an awakened consciousness, that has resulted, you know, 40 years later in the woman that I am today. So it's a process. It's a process of defining who you want to be, what values, what principles will guide you through that journey, and how you get there is just taking one day at a time. And that's when I also started to write things down. So I would write down.
Wait, before you get into writing things down, because I know journaling is really important to you.
Very.
I just want to like emphasize that process, because it was literally like you saw these women and that opened you up to like visualizing the potentials in your future, right? So that's step one. You see it, you're visualizing in your mind all of these amazing, like the life for your family, the life for your kids, the house you want to build. And then it was then, okay, believing it for yourself. And, you know, you read books helped you with that.
Oh, yes.
And I think it's so important that, you know, especially going through life, you may have been told, oh, no one believes in you, or, you know, you may have been told negative things growing up, or, you know, not being in the most supportive place, but actually you rewired your mind, right, with the information you are getting in books. So shout out to Confident and Killing It, just want to plug that in there, right? So books like that.
Absolutely.
Unleashing the Giant Within, Power Positive Thinking, 15 Laws of Growth, which was the book that you gave me when I turned 21, that literally changed my life, right? Absolutely. So the power of getting these new perspectives that actually change your mind, that begin to rewire your mind so that you can then take action and take baby steps, right? Because you can't achieve the life of your dreams with a mind that is sabotaging you and holding you back.
So what is important is to pay attention to the narrative that is going on internally. And the narrative that is going on internally will be the voice of your parents, your teachers, your friends, your different people who form part of who you are in terms of your experience, your life's experiences. So you've got to be able to sift and sort, and then go, you know what, this is what I want. This is what I, as this being, want. And you then begin, and that's why I started writing things down, you then begin to reaffirm and tell yourself those things every day. Single day. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. Because what you're basically doing is rewiring your mind. You're creating a mind that will liberate you from where you presently are and can take you to your desired state. This person that you can see, how does she walk? How does she sit? Where is she? What does she feel? You know, what kind of conversations does she have? What kind of car is she in? What kind of holidays does she take? I wanted to take 5-star holidays. I love 5-star holidays. I wanted to, I don't care if I don't buy a bag, but I want to take a 5-star holiday. Because
I clearly I got that from you.
Difference between a 5-star holiday and a holiday. So, you know, I was very particular. I mind mapped my entire life with myself in the middle, and I literally drew out the entire map of, I wanted to create industry. And so I'm manufacturing uniforms, I'm manufacturing clothing. I wanted to create a retail brand that's rough and tumble. It's there, it's 17 stores all over Nigeria, and there's an e-commerce platform. I wanted to, my home, my children, I wanted to be able to have open conversations with my children. What was that going to look like? My health, I wanted to look after myself. What did I eat? How do I exercise? So I started yoga some 5-6 years ago. I started doing yoga so I could center myself. So I would give myself, I would believe enough in myself to give myself the chance
Yes.
to show up as the best and truest version of myself in the most authentic way that is me.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, that is me, not anybody else, but just me, because I believe that every single human being has a unique, the same way our DNA is unique, we have a unique gift. And that gift is the reason why you're here, and how you connect with that gift and you're able to share that gift is so important for your peace in your life's journey.
Yeah.
Very important for me.
Like, purpose is not just about, like, it's not just about, like, serving others. So we always say, like, oh, purpose is being in the service of something greater than yourself.
Yes.
And I totally get that. But actually, like, taking action on that isn't just for the benefit of others. It's also for the benefit of yourself, right?
Yes.
It's for that, like, oh, I'm actually like using my gifts, like, and that's where the motivation can also come from. It's like, no, the fact that I show up every single day is because this keeps me alive, and like doing this isn't just about making other people happy, it's about making me happy, you know? It's like that sense of energy and sense of self also comes from honoring your own calling as well.
Yes, and you have to do that, you know. It's everybody comes with a gift.
Yeah.
So even if you're afraid, you know, just learn to jump. And your wings will break, but they'll heal. And trust me, they will break multiple times. It's how you heal from it. That's what's important.
Yeah.
And don't take it personal, because once you personalize the incidents and things that happen to you, you get stuck. So don't personalize it. It's part of your story, it's part of the journey of who you are or who you're going to become. And I think it's important that, you know, people understand that.
Yeah, you don't know.
It's so important.
And it's
that
something
people
I was
understand
just
that.
speaking about in a previous episode of the podcast, like actually embracing failure instead of avoiding it, because life is not about will you get hit or not. It's about when you do get hit, how are you going to bounce back?
If you don't want to get hit, live in a bubble.
Sit
Don't come
in
out.
one place.
Yeah, don't move. Don't go out.
Yeah.
Don't get out of bed. You won't get hit.
So I want to go back to becoming a mother, and you know, you had all these dreams and you realized motherhood was actually the thing that kind of pushed you to be like, oh, you really need to be intentional about creating the life that you want, you know? So so I guess in your case, like motherhood kind of like helped you dream bigger almost.
I think
Or how did motherhood affect your ability to dream and create the life that you want?
The fact that I was now responsible for another life, and I saw school fees somewhere down the line. I saw education. I wanted the best education.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, I wanted to give this child, you know, opportunities that I didn't have.
Yeah.
As a child, I think those things sort of like helped me shape my thinking. How can I make this child feel secure? And how can I create security for this child?
A conversation that I often hear happening is kind of like, some people say like, oh, you know, when you have children, it's very easy for your dreams to just get pushed to the back burner. As a woman, and then it's like everything just becomes about the child and their needs and supporting them, and then it's like a lot of women forget their own personal dreams that keep them alive. So where were your own personal dreams in the mix of this motherhood equation?
So one thing I always remind myself of, before I am wife or mother, I'm human.
You're Adenike.
Yes, I am human.
Yeah.
Before I'm anybody's daughter, before I'm anybody's mother, I am human. And as a human being, there are basic things that come with my humanity. The gifts that I brought to serve, the gifts that I brought to use, to impact the world. I'm not going to put them aside because I have children. So for me, it's never been work-life balance. It's always been work-life integration.
Yeah.
So how do I get all the different moving parts of my life to work together in a way that it serves me and supports me?
Yeah.
So I can be very selfish about it.
And I think that's actually a good thing, because you have to fill your cup up before you can give to others. Like taking care of yourself, honoring your values, prioritizing your dreams is not selfish.
No.
It is like basic human necessities you need to function and feel whole. It's the same way it's like, put your mask on first on the plane before you help the next person.
Absolutely.
And part of putting your mask on, what's in that oxygen tank that you're inhaling, it's honoring your values. It's, being intentional about who you want to become.
Absolutely.
It's, prioritizing your goals, your faith, like all the different things that you mentioned, sewing into yourself, because you are just as important as anybody else out there.
Apart from which, you can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have.
Wow.
So you can only give if you have done what you just said, fill your tank up. And I can't have conversations if I haven't learned anything new. So I have to invest in myself. I have to believe I am worthy. I have to believe I am worth the space that I want to occupy.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody to tell me that I am. I tell me that I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can I ask, sorry, how do you just believe that? Like, because people are just like, oh, just say positive affirmations and then you'll just believe it. Like, what is believing?
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Because you are, as I said earlier, there's an internal dialogue or narrative that is going on. And it is the voice of all the different people who have been in your life. You now want to hear a new voice. That means you're going to say that thing to yourself or write it down as many times as you need to, so that it kills and lowers the voices that tell you that you can't, or tell you that you're unworthy. So this new voice raises you.
The volume.
Yes, it raises you. You raise the volume and it raises you. It reaffirms for you that anything is possible for you. I'm not my father, I'm not my mother. I am a part of their life's experiences, and yes, their DNA runs in me. But you know what? I can carve out a whole different path for myself because I believe I'm worthy of it, because I believe I'm worth it, and because I believe that if I set my heart and my mind, the two most powerful tools that I have as a human being, if I set, Einstein says that your knowledge is nothing, imagination is everything. And I take those two things, truth in my heart, love in my heart, and my mind and my imagination. And the things I can see, I can hear, I can feel, I can create them.
Yeah.
Because we're also, as spirit beings, we're creators of our own experiences, our own life's experiences.
Absolutely.
We're constantly, anything around you, happening around you, you have created consciously or unconsciously. So become a conscious creator by articulating with such intense clarity what it is that you want. You have to shut the noise out. You need to shut that noise out. People are going to tell you, you can't do it. Somebody said to me, you can't sell children's clothes that are made in Nigeria. Nobody's going to buy it. I just said, watch me.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, why do you put your logo on it? I said, go take your Chanel off your bag, cut off your Mercedes-Benz crest before you come and tell me that the work of my hands that I am so proud of, I should not put my label on it. Hell no, I'm going to put my label on it. Why? Because I made this in Nigeria. I'm super proud of it. And you know what? I want to change the landscape. I want a new narrative for my country. I want people to believe that it's possible for us as Nigerians to produce good quality. And do you know what? That's what I'm doing right here.
Amazing.
So I'm leaving the label on it.
Yes, girl.
Yes.
So in chapter 2 of Confident and Killing It, it's called Get Sassy with the Mean Girl in Your Mind, right? And I think one of, to really share some like practical tips on this is like you have to challenge that negative voice that tells you you can't. You can't just accept it as your reality. Whether it's your voice, whether it's the voice of your parents or friends or the world, social media, whatever. Any voice that is actively telling you that you cannot go after your dreams or you don't have what it takes to achieve your dreams and your goals, you can actually quieten that voice.
Absolutely.
And turn up the volume of the voice that says, yes, you are capable. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you have the skills and the talent. But that voice actually has to be nurtured.
Yes.
Because the voice that tells you you can't is often louder than the voice trying to push you to say, yes, you can, believe in yourself. So first thing is to make a choice. You got to make a choice that I am going to nurture this voice of positivity, this voice of empowerment in me, and then question and challenge the negative voice that, is telling you, oh, you can't do this. Is it really facts? Or am I making an assumption here? You can ask yourself this: does this thought sabotage me or does it empower me? And I have a song that says, if it sabotages you, bin it. If it empowers you, run with it.
Fantastic.
Okay?
I love it.
If it sabotages you, bin it. If it empowers you, run with it. Okay? And again, you can quieten down the voice or you can throw it in the bin. Something I used to do was all the negative stories I used to tell myself, I would write them down on a piece of paper and then rip them up and throw it in the bin. Because
Fantastic.
that was a sign to my subconscious that I am no longer allowing this narrative to rule me.
Fantastic.
And then I would write down the empowering belief I want to say instead, and I would read that and believe it and begin to believe it for myself. And then another very important part about believing in yourself is gathering evidence in your life to support your beliefs about yourself. So you want to say, okay, yes, I am a resilient person, okay? We don't just want to stop there. Let's look for evidence in your life to show your resiliency. Think about times you have overcome your challenges. Write them down. Gather receipts. Gather evidence in your life. If you want to say, okay, I'm a people person or I have a big heart, look for evidence in your life where you've actually been kind to others and remember those moments. And that also helps you lift yourself up and increase the volume of the positivity.
And I think that's what's beautiful about your generation, that you have these examples and you have, all these techniques and little strategies that you can deploy.
Yeah.
Whereas, we didn't think that deeply about it.
Yeah, I mean, now it's the thing now.
40 years ago, we didn't think that deeply about it.
Yeah, but you did the best with what you had, which is the most important thing.
So,
yeah.
You use what you have to get what you want. I'm a great believer in that.
Yeah.
So great. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Amazing. So can you tell us a time about something you've manifested? What was something you had that was, you saw it, you believed it, you achieved it? Give us something juicy that you manifested.
I have loads of them.
I know.
I like to think of myself as an awesome manifestor.
You are.
Yeah. So I remember I owned a billboard on Isaac John, and Zenith Bank moved into Isaac John and paid me to move my billboard because it was obstructing their frontage to the other side of the road.
Yeah.
And then just around that time too, another bank was moving into Isaac John.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to your dad, I said, the big boys are coming onto this street.
Yeah.
Property on this street is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
The elephants are coming, but I'm not going to be the grass they're going to trample on.
Ooh.
So I wrote it down that I'm going to buy property on Isaac John. And I got a phone call. This is really freaky, honestly. And 100% truth.
Yeah, so you wrote it down that you
I wrote it down that I wanted
property.
I wanted property on Isaac John. I wanted property in Victoria Island. I wrote down
where you wanted your properties. Yeah,
I love real estate. And this guy calls me and was asking for your Uncle Fola.
Randomly. Yeah. To speak to Daddy's brother.
Yes.
Okay.
And I said, oh, he's not, he's He's not in the country. He's out of the country. And, you know, something just said, be helpful. So I said to him, but how can I help you? Anyway, so he said to me, there's a property on Isaac John that we want to sell. I said, then it belongs to me.
Okay, girl. Period.
I said to him, then it belongs to me.
So someone called you looking for somebody else.
Yep.
And instead of just saying, sorry, the person's not around, you actually said...
Something said to me, be helpful.
Be helpful.
Be kind, be helpful, you know. He's trying to reach him, but he's a member of my family. So, you know, I just said, well, okay, so how can I help you? Is there any way I can help you? And I said, well, it belongs to me. So, hey, what else?
And you had written it down.
I'd written it down. And Daddy was away. So I called him. I said, I've got it. I'm going into the bank on Monday. I'm going to talk to the bank. I've got some of the money. I'm going to ask the bank to give me the rest of the money. They can hold the property until I've finished paying for it. And they can give it back to me. I can see it and they can hold it again because I'm going to buy another one after that. You know. So that's what happened. I went to the bank, told them I had this amount of money. I needed a balance to pay. I needed a loan for the balance to be able to buy the property.
Yeah.
And I bought it.
Amazing.
I bought it, you know, but I'd written it down. And the same thing, I wanted land on the expressway to build a factory. I wrote down everything I wanted to do with that piece of land. Exactly how it was going to flow, the school, the factory. It was going to be like a park. So creatives could come from Lagos and rent space to produce so they don't have to have the machines. They can focus on their brands. And that's still something I really want to do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of creativity in Nigeria.
Of course.
And I celebrate, you know, the young people who are dynamic and who dare, you know, to show up with their creative energy. I think it's a great thing that we have in Nigeria. I would like them to focus on their brands, and we have a production facility that can produce for them, so that they can grow their brands and not worry about production. Yeah, yeah. So I wanted like 2 hectares of land or 3 hectares of land to be able to do this. It was going to be almost like a village.
Yeah, yeah, an industrial village.
Like an industrial village.
Yeah.
And this girl says to me, I found you land on the expressway. She calls me. I said to her, this is what I want to do. And about a year later, she just came back to me and said, I found land on the expressway.
Wow.
Maku City, Ogun State. I said, let's go.
But that dream is still currently being manifested because we haven't gotten to the end of it yet. And I think it's also something to realize that from manifesting, it's like you can't say, I want this thing tomorrow.
No.
You write it down without a specific, I mean, maybe you might have a rough timeline, but I think a big part of manifesting is that you're not obsessed about the timeline of it happening.
I don't even think I've ever put a timeline.
Yeah. I actually also don't put timelines on things.
If you drop a seed in the ground, you don't know when it will sprout. You don't even know that it will sprout. That seed may die. It may sprout. But you live in faith.
Yeah.
And call forth that which is not as though it is. And it takes root and it starts to come up. And it takes time.
Yeah.
Life is a process. This is what young people have to understand. It's taken me 35 years of hard work to be where I am today.
Yeah.
It's not a walk in the park. You will face your own resistance. You will face your own insecurities, your vulnerabilities. You will grow through those experiences so that you can show up as your authentic self, and not somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's why I say fake nails, fake this, fake that.
Okay, girl.
Back the fake stuff.
No need to drag
Get
us.
real. I'm not dragging you.
Okay, Mrs. Naturalista.
I'm not dragging you. I'm just saying. Honestly, I'm just saying. No drag, no disrespect. I'm just saying, honestly, just get real as you can be. Because what you seek is also seeking you, but you must have clarity on what you seek. Yeah.
I think a big part of manifesting is also your emotional vibration.
Absolutely.
Because and that's something that I really I really had like my aha moment last year in 2023, where I wasn't manifesting the way I was in 2022, and I realized was because I faced a disappointment that really knocked my emotions, and so it put me in a state of just like survival instead of thriving. And it's really a lot of work to maintain, to even cultivate those high frequency vibrational emotions that allow you to attract all the goodness in your life. So love, fulfillment, wisdom, insight, gratitude, all of these things are high vibrational frequencies. And when you are living in high vibrationally, that's when the manifesting, that's when all the good things start to come to you. So another thing in that story of you manifesting, buying that piece of land to build, you know, your own kind of headquarters, was it wasn't a smooth ride. It wasn't just like visualized buying property, someone called, got the loan from the bank, bought it, built, moved in. There was definitely some hiccups along the way.
There always is.
Yeah.
There always is.
Yeah.
There will always be speed bumps.
Always.
There will always be flat tires. But you go over a speed bump. You get out of your car when you have a flat tire and you change the tire and you keep going. The important thing is to keep your laser focus on where it is you're going.
Yeah.
Because the noise of the marketplace will distract you. The noise of your friends will distract you. The naysayers, people who mean well for you, will tell you are putting yourself under too much stress. You're working too hard. Is it by force? Must you do it? This is my path.
Yeah.
This is my journey. This is my gift to the world. This is my service to the world. This is me doing the things that I do best. Yes, I'm ready to get uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable, and I'm comfortable with that, you know. But I know that the person that comes out at the end of it can look at it and say, girl, you did that.
Yeah.
Well done.
It feels amazing.
It does,
Yeah.
you know. And what I've learned now to say to myself is, I was inspired by Snoop Dogg to do this, was to thank myself for showing up for me.
Oh yeah, I love that speech.
I love it. I think it's one of the best, most authentic speeches I've heard in a long time.
Yes, thank you to me
Yes,
for showing up.
for all the hard work, for the pain, for the tears,
Yeah.
you know, for the feelings of insecurity, the fear, everything, but just getting on with it and just being laser focused about doing it and just.
So how do you not let disappointment like stop you, like get in the way of the dream? Because like disappointment, rejection, it's a big hit to the heart, right? And it's like, how do you then not give up after facing that? Like, it's tough. I know, yeah, it's tough. So how 35 years in, because it's so funny because I'm 5 years into entrepreneurship and you're like 35 years into entrepreneurship or probably more, 40 right? 40. So it's just like, I'm like, 4 years in, I'm like, I'm tired. Like every day I'm just like, I have to get up and go every day. I'm like, wow, how do you find the energy to keep going 40 years in? Disappointments, things not going as planned, detours on the vision.
So at different points in time in my life, I would answer that question differently. But I think where I found peace was when I realized that I was on a divine assignment.
Okay.
And when I looked at what I was trying to do as a divine assignment, it meant, number one, I wasn't alone. It also meant that there was a higher reason for me to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And when I look at retail in general in Nigeria now and the fashion industry, 30 odd years later, and when I see what the young people are doing, every pain, every scar, every tear is worth what I see because I know that I was part of an influence on that.
Wow.
And for me, I just kept on saying, this divine assignment, now you have to give me my 12 apostles minus Judas. I don't need any more Judases.
Yeah.
I just need the 12. I need good 12 apostles
Yeah.
who can carry this vision
With you.
along with me.
Destiny helpers.
Yes. They can carry this vision along with me. And that has been a challenge to find the right people.
Yeah, that's a prayer point
But
of mine.
it is. But they will come. What you seek is also seeking you. But get clarity on what you are seeking. Who are they? What are their values? So that you can recognize them when they sit in front of you. They're not going to be 100% perfect, but they're going to bring something along that you need for this journey and to build. So after that, the pain of disappointment becomes redirection. The pain of disappointment becomes, how did I contribute towards this situation that I just experienced?
Accountability.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did I contribute to it? What could I have done differently? What could I have said differently? And I think once you begin to take that personal accountability and you know that you are on a purposeful journey,
Yeah.
you know, and you believe, you stand in faith. Faith is so important. For me, I cannot achieve anything, nothing, without my spirituality. That is what centers me. That is what anchors me. That is what grounds me. Because I know that I am created by this awesome creator who has given me the gift of co-creation. And once he says to me I should have clarity and write the vision and make it plain and make it clear.
Yeah.
Once I do that, I have the power to declare. I have the strength to run and I will never be weary.
Yeah.
I have the strength to fly, to soar in the skies like the eagle does, and spread my wings and just fly. No matter what happens, I get up again and I fly.
Yeah.
So I do not let a speed bump become the main show. It's a side attraction. That's all it is. And so treat it as such.
I love
and
that.
keep it as a side attraction.
I'm the main character.
Exactly.
You're a side attraction.
That full stop. So you know that
I
you
love
have
that.
this laser focus on where it is you're going. But you're agile in your thinking.
Yeah.
You're flexible in your thinking. So it's not, I'm going to do it like this, or if I don't do it like this, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Be open. Be open. Because you may be wanting to go to Oyo, but you may end up going through Ijebu. Yeah, really. You
For
know?
our non-Nigerian listeners.
Okay, Oyo is up in the middle of Nigeria somewhere.
UK, you're trying to get to...
Yeah, okay, so in the UK, you're trying to get to Scotland.
Yeah.
And you
then
go
you end up
through-
in Wales.
Yeah, you end up in
Or
Wales.
go through Wales to get to Scotland.
Yeah, or you know.
That's the real detour.
Yeah, it is. But then in that detour, what are the lessons? You know, what are you saying to yourself? What questions are you asking yourself? The more powerful a question you can ask yourself, the better the quality of the answers you will get.
Yes.
So when you are able to ask yourself, and you know, my mother used to say this thing to me, unto thine own self be true. And it really didn't come alive for me until I was in my 20s. When I walked out of university, I didn't want to be a lawyer because I was just a body sitting there. And I just didn't want to do that. And those words of unto thine self be true, you don't owe anybody any explanation. You owe you an explanation. It is your life.
Yeah.
You are accountable for your life.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to stand at the gates of heaven or hell and answer for you. You will answer for yourself. So better know what you want.
Yeah.
Better know who you are. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing who you are. Go on the journey of finding out who you are.
Finding out, yeah. But you have to. You
You
have to
elicit
do that
your
work.
values.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to
You know,
do that work.
if you are not willing to do the work, then you're forever going to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But once you're willing to do that work, and as I said, once you're willing to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because it will wake up things in you that you didn't even know were there.
Yeah.
And you then face them.
Yeah.
And you make a choice. And I say this as well all the time. You have a choice. The choice is yours. It will always be. It always is. Your life is a sum total of the choices that you have made. So you better be in the driver's seat, and you better be the one who's putting it into gear.
Yeah.
And you better be the one who's turning that wheel where you want it to go.
And it can be scary, but what's on the other side is so much power and clarity and fulfillment that it is a journey worth going on.
Absolutely.
And something you mentioned that I want to highlight is the difference between high achievers and overachievers. Because when I was writing Confident and Killing It, a big thing that comes up is perfectionism. But actually, perfectionism can actually have good traits. And there's perfectionism that can actually keep you stuck, but there's more of a positive side to it, which I call a high achiever. So an overachiever has a specific goal and a specific way to get to that goal. And if they do not get it, go there exactly the way they planned it, they see it as a failure, right? Whereas a high achiever knows where they want to go, has a plan for the path, but if they happen to go on a detour, it is still, and eventually get to that point, it is still a success.
Absolutely.
Right? So success isn't measured on going the exact plan the way you wanted it until you reach the finish line. Success is in the journey. It's in the journey of growing, evolving, and going through life. Success is not reaching the finish line. Success is embracing and enjoying the journey that you're on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Well said.
last question, kind of wrapping up, is a big thing in African culture, Black culture, is really parents trying to influence their children's trajectory in life, their children's dreams and the path and potential, essentially. And everybody knows this. In an African or Black household, doctor, lawyer, all of these things, accountant,
architect, engineer,
yes, how could I forget the engineers? Yeah, right? So, and every other dream or any other career potential out the window. And one of from the child's perspective, what I say to other young people when they ask me, oh, Tiwa, how do I get my parents to believe in my dream, blah, blah, blah. What I say to them is, at the end of the day, your parents just want you to be successful.
Yeah.
Every parent wants that for their child.
Absolutely.
And so to them and from their generation, success is jobs, careers that will always guarantee you a job. Okay?
Absolutely.
And those are the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, etc. And so if you are going to move away from that, you have to come to them with a solid plan of how you can make this alternative career work for you. And you just know that coming from a good place, but you need to have confidence when you deliver it. So what would you say to parents? And a lot of people now, being a content creator is a huge industry, billion-dollar industry, right? It's
Absolutely.
the future. Every young person these days has a TikTok, YouTube channel, Instagram, all of these things. And so a lot of, especially Nigerian kids, have a bunch of creativity in them and they want to express that. But then they're still kind of like held down by their parents' expectations of these kind of certain career paths that they want to go on. So as a mother, what would you say to another parent? What advice would you give them in terms of the actual benefits of allowing your child to explore and support, or how would you as a mother, to say to someone else to support their children's dream, even though you don't necessarily believe in the dream?
It's very difficult to support something you don't believe in, and this is a great question. And if I look at you, for example, if I come from that angle, as an example, where we traveled, we worked together, we went, to different exhibitions all over the world, And, you used to tell me when you were little that you were going to run my business. You and Moa used to tell me you were going to run my business. You were going to do this and you were going to do that. To then get to the point where I looked at you and I thought, okay, so now you finished, maybe you want to come back to Lagos to work, with me. And you turned around and you simply said to me, Mommy, you pursued your own dreams and I have my own dreams and I want to pursue my own dreams. And it was like a sucker punch in my stomach.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I mean, you've done amazing things, And I'm just trying to describe how a parent can feel, And how do you get over that? You get over that by just coming to a place of acceptance that you cannot live precariously through your children. That your children are individuals, they've come to this world and they have a different lens to the world. And the time and season of their life is different from our time and season, And you have to release them and let them go. Now, a lot of parents, which you have said, are afraid that their children, creativity is not something that Nigerian parents think you can earn money from. And so I was the black sheep in my family. When there's lawyers, there's doctors, there's engineers. Oh boy, there's so many engineers. And I then come along and I say, you know what, hold that thought. I don't want to be a lawyer. So what do you want to be? I don't know what I want to be. But I just know I don't want to be a lawyer. It's boring, it doesn't interest me. And so I packed my bags out of uni and I came back home. And my dad almost had a heart attack because to him, I was throwing my life away. But for my mother, who said, no problem. You can take a year off school, but this is what we're going to do. You're going to work with me. And work with me means you work.
Yeah.
You get up every day.
You show your commitment.
Yes.
And that's it. They want to see that commitment to your dream. Yeah.
I'm putting a story behind what you're saying to the young people.
Yes.
That is how you show your commitment. And I remember coming to Lagos for a party. And I went back home, got back to Ijebu, and I was still sleeping at something like 9 a.m. And my mother literally kicked the door down and said, are you going to spend your life, this was one night, are you going to spend your life sleeping? And I realized that, she had gone out on a limb for me by supporting me to try to find myself. I didn't even have a dream at this point.
Okay.
I didn't have a dream. All I knew was I didn't want to be a lawyer. So I didn't have any clarity on what I did want to be. But when I started working with her, I realized that I had all this creativity in me, which of course was deeply embedded in me from watching her make a derail from when I was like 4 years old and playing with the dyes and playing with the this and playing with that. So I have a strong sense of color, which had come from that. I have a strong sense of proportions and balance in creativity, which had come from that. And I didn't realize that. But I then was in the middle of this workshop with all this fabric, and I could hear them talking to me. Literally, I could hear them, make me into this, make me into this. I would look nice in this. I can match this and this. You can mix this color and this color. This narrative was going on in my head. I could not sleep. I didn't remember to eat. It was almost as if I was in this world and nobody could reach me. Nothing could stop me from then on. All I knew was I needed to consistently show up, prove my commitment, work hard, and one day my mother said, here's 2,500 naira, when 2,500 naira was a lot of money. Here's 2,500 naira. The car and the driver, you go to the markets yourself. You go pick your own fabrics, pick everything you want, and bring it back. We'll cut, we'll sew, and we'll take them to Quintessence. You said I should come and be a lawyer. God forbid. It was like, I found me.
Yeah, then you got excited, you found the
Yes.
joy, you found the passion.
found me.
But she only took that bet on you after you had showed up consistently.
Oh yes, I was consistent.
And showed your commitment.
I was consistent.
Yeah.
I showed up.
Yeah.
I showed up. You have to show up.
So that's now on the kids side. So going back to the parents, what would you tell parents to encourage them? Let's say they do have a
Support your
child
children, yes.
that is consistent. What would you tell parents when their child is coming to them with a dream that they don't necessarily understand or, have want to support? What would you say to them?
Imagine, I would tell them this story. Now, imagine this, that you've sent your daughter to the best schools in the world, the best flying schools in the world, yeah? And she's been invited to fly Air Force One.
Okay, yes.
And your daughter is the privileged chief pilot of Air Force
One.
On Air Force One.
Okay.
And then her husband says that she can't go. See, silence. Her husband says she can't go. Who are you to stand in the way of the dreams, of the gift? You are not God. Encourage your children. Support your children. They will fall. Get over yourself. Be there for them.
Yeah, be there for them when they fall.
Don't worry about what will this person say. What will this person think? What will this person... No. You focus on your child.
Yeah.
And you support that child with everything you can.
Yeah.
If it's money, if it's emotional, if it is physical, whatever it is, show up for that child. Let them know you are a safety net.
Yes.
There are many people out there who don't have that safety net.
Yeah. There are many people who don't believe in them outside. In the home, let it be the place where they are believed in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And trust them.
Yeah.
Trust your children. They will fall. Get over yourself. I say it again. Get over yourself. They will fall. But be there to help them up, to give them a hand and show them, all within reason.
Yeah.
Now, if you keep falling on the same thing,
yeah, of course.
Not
but
acceptable.
At least give them the chance.
Yes. Not accept. That's why I said if you keep falling on the same thing,
yeah.
then you are not doing something right. You need to go back and look through that process and see what it is you're doing that is causing that outcome consistently. Yeah, because you want a different outcome.
Yeah.
But I would say, stop playing God. Support your children, because each person comes to this world with a unique gift. You've been gifted. You are gifted. Everybody has a gift. It's all on different scales, but everybody has a gift. And who knows what that child will become? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
People now come to me to ask me, how can their child get into CSM? That they hear my daughter is St. Martin's.
Yeah.
Yes. People now come to ask me and say their children want to go into the creative. But I thought you people all called me that I dropped out of school and that I this and I. I chose a different path. And a lot of people will choose a different path. And if a person is choosing a different path, it's courage.
Yeah.
Support them.
It's courage, yeah.
It's courageous.
Yeah, rather than seeing it as them wasting their life, seeing it as them being courageous to dare to go on a different path. Yeah.
It's courageous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not everybody wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. No, they don't. And besides which, creatives rule the world.
Wow.
Yeah, creatives rule the world. The richest man in the world is creative. Yeah. It's a bunch of creative industries.
Yeah. But, I mean, it is a very difficult industry, but...
It is. And you have to be very disciplined.
You have to be,
You have to see it as a business.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say, I say, I am not a designer. I am a fashion entrepreneur who happens to like to design children's clothing. I'm very clear in my mind. It is first a business.
Yeah.
So the numbers must make sense.
Yeah.
We must be making money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very important that you see the business side of it. If you don't have a business head, you get a business partner.
Yeah.
But you must understand.
As a creative,
yes,
so important.
It is.
The business.
You have the same way a doctor has healing hands. You have been gifted this gift to gift the world. So you have to find a way to monetize it.
Yeah.
It has to pay your bills. It has to pay for your lifestyle. It has to pay. You have to find a way to use it the same way an engineer
uses their hands.
uses their gift.
Yeah,
you know.
amazing.
That's your gift. So parents, support your children. That's the best gift you can give them. The world is hard enough. The world is tough enough. And with social media, it's even worse. So you want to give your children, it's not about money all the time. It's about listening. It's about understanding. It's about being a sounding board. It's about the experiences you've had all through your life and the wisdom that you carry to guide the youth. 9 times of 10, they won't listen. And that's fine.
That's fine.
But you know,
at
you
least
said
you're
it.
there.
Yeah. You know you're there.
Thank you, Mommy, so much. This
You're
has
welcome,
been
sweetheart. I'm
such
so proud of
a
you.
beautiful conversation. Thank you for all the wisdom and the gems that you have shared. So many little bits and bobs to get out of this conversation. But I think my main takeaway is remembering that when you face rejection or disappointment, that it is just a bump in the road. It is a side attraction.
Yes.
And you have to focus on the main character,
Yes.
right? You are the author of your story.
Absolutely.
And so, again, building the dream life that you want, see it in your mind, get inspiration, visualize it, get your vision boards ready, meet people who inspire you, believe it in your heart, go over and over and over it again, write it down, think about it, meditate, speak it out loud with positivity, and then align with the action. Take baby steps and just keep going over and over again. Okay, so that is our recipe for manifesting, and then not getting hung up on the timelines. Think it and then surrender it, and then go through the process.
But remind yourself every day. I remind
Yeah.
myself when I wake up, I'm grateful for the gift of this day. Before I get out of bed, before I open my eyes, I'm grateful for just that semi-conscious space.
Yeah.
And then I look at all the different things that I want to achieve and reaffirm the images in my brain.
In your brain, yeah.
I reaffirm the images in my brain so that as I walk through my day, when things show up for me, I can recognize them.
Yes.
Because they're conscious in my consciousness.
In the forefront of your mind.
Yeah. They're in the
Amazing.
forefront of my mind.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us in this beautiful conversation. As always, I want nothing more than to see you winning in 2024 and beyond. I want to see you taking action on your dreams, because that is the life you deserve. If you loved this episode, please do share it with your mother, your sister, your friend, anyone in your life, because life is more fun when we're all confident and killing it together. So thank you so much for listening. Love you all. And until next time, stay confident and killing it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you for letting me go after my dreams. I'm still going to come and run your business, don't worry.
I've got some pretty good women running my business right now.
Yeah,
Big good
so,
women.
but thank you for letting me go after my dreams. Thank you for always believing in me and encouraging me. Like I always say this every single time, like I truly believed I was unstoppable because I saw you being unstoppable. I saw you going after your dreams. So I've never thought that there's anything I can't do, because whatever my mom dreams, she does it. So if she can do it, I can do it too. So
And more, and you can do even more.
yeah.
And you are doing more, and you will do much more.
amen.
Yeah? Our dreams as
yeah.
parents is that our children will be greater than we are.
Amen.
And you are on that path. And I'm happy for you.
Cheers to us.
Love you. Love you too.